Hello and welcome to Between Two Cubes, the podcast where we're at work.
We're work. Oh,
Welcome to work. You were so close. It's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's going
Welcome
on?
to work.
I guess the
Between
big
two
thing.
cubes. Okay, so first off, I got one
Well,
thing to come up with.
Okay,
Tariffs.
fine. Whatever. Go ahead.
The tariff meeting at work, dude.
Oh, yeah, you're telling me. So for background,
So
Boyan's company had a scary meeting.
yeah, so they put together a meeting with like all the big wigs were like going through the tariffs and like how it's gonna affect the company and what they're doing about it. And dude, it was so funny. Like these are all like, important, serious people.
Yeah.
And they're like basically having to like sanitize and like make this very ramshackle fucking global, policy sound like, I don't know, like put together a little bit, even though it's not. Like at one point they were going through some numbers and they're like, okay, so you see that board he showed everybody, it had this number on it. But then this actual form that they sent out with the actual numbers had a different number on it. But then we got this third form that had the first number on it. So we're actually not sure what the tariff percentage is.
Dude, that's crazy. Yeah,
and then,
go ahead.
Yeah, the guy was the head guy. He was talking about it. He was trying to be really serious about it. Like, hey, we're trying to do our best, but it's pretty difficult because they keep changing everything on a whim, and it's hard to really make plans and have put things into motion when we don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
I remember one point during the meeting they talked about how they're trying to handle the increase in costs for like a bunch of stuff we purchase. And they're like working with suppliers to like try to have the suppliers kind of like take on some of the burden. And that was when all the tariffs were, like 40%, like really high. And then I'm pretty sure the very next day after that meeting, like that's when he was like, "Oh, we're pausing it. We're not.
I know.
We're just doing the 10%."
Dude, for real. This is so funny because I was like, whenever he said he was, actually we had first of all, we had a huge episode where we talked about tariffs for like, maybe a little too long, but
this is relevant to work though.
This is relevant to work because this affects us. We work for multinational corporations, big wigs. Anyways, but when he paused it, I was like, thank God, because then like my, listeners, I'll
your
tell
Japanese cameras.
Yeah, all the
don't have a
Japanese
40% tariff on it.
Oh my gosh, for real. Technically, if you import, if you import something for personal use and it's less than, I think it's like $300, you don't have to pay tariffs on it. But if you I'm pretty sure if you import, like over the course of a year, if you import like more than that number, you will have to pay some kind of tariff.
I think I heard that he's trying to lower that, but it might have been only for Chinese goods.
Because there's like this weird, okay, again, we don't need to talk about this, but there's like a weird loophole where companies like Temu will like, you'll do your order, it'll come from China, but they won't pay any tariffs on it because it's like for personal use or a citizen's the one ordering it. And it's less than that declared value. I think it's like either 800 or 300. I don't know how much it is, but since the package itself and the order you're doing is less than that number, there's no like tariffs on it. And I'm pretty sure you're supposed to keep track of how much you've imported. Like if it's you personally ordering it, you're supposed to keep track of it. So I don't know. It's kind of weird. So I've ordered a lot of stuff from Japan because they have all the good cameras are over in Japan.
Right.
But definitely have not ordered enough in a year to merit me needing to pay like taxes on it or anything like that.
Well, if it's like $800, I could see possibly going over that in a year.
I mean, yeah, maybe. Anyways, so that's crazy. But anyways, I told you like my down payment for my house is like my stock account, which I've had for a very long time. This money has been good. It's do the math, put it in a savings account or even a high yield savings account versus put it into a stock account. Even with the taxes I have to pay when I sell it, I still made more money in my stock account. So just mathematically, it made sense. Even though it's a little more complicated, I don't care. Anyway, so tariff plan came out. Boom, dude, I lost a lot of my down payment for that house. But rebounded, and then he has a 90-day pause. I have like, I have like 90 days to essentially sell all my stocks before he like goes back forward with it. So we'll see what happens. I feel like I don't know. I think I'll buy a house hopefully in the next 90 days. So I'll be okay. But that was like so annoying. It was so PMO, PMO. Do you know what that means?
No, I don't.
Pissing me off. But it's hard to use. It's hard to use because you have to be like, this is PMO, or like you can't say this is PMO-ing, or I don't know. It's like conjugated weird. Whatever.
Yeah, I hope you figure that out, man. You don't want to be stuck holding the bag. Like
Literally.
oh, actually, God, I'm gonna go back to this, but one of my friends got stuck. Actually, it's not a long story. One of my friends got stuck holding the bag for the GameStop shorting. Do you remember it?
Oh my god.
Like it it like went like it shot up like to
Yeah.
whatever 250 a share or something like that. He like bought it when I don't know if it was like at the very peak, but it wasn't too off of the peak.
Yeah.
And yeah, he wasn't able to sell in time, and so he like lost a lot of money.
Dude, I remember when I first started investing, which is when I got my lore. When I got my co-op working for that one company, which arguably, very evil company. Well, not anymore, but anyways, I got paid pretty well for that for a college student. Like it was very very good money. That's what that helped me pay out the money I got from that was like what I lived on until I graduated, so I didn't have to like take out any loans or anything like that. But I took all that money, so I was like, let's invest this. So I did that, lost like 20% in like a month, and I was like, and then like I did some investing and I made loads of money because it was like right when the pandemic recovery was happening. So like pandemic happened and like went really far down. Then it started coming back up. And anyways, do you know what leverage stocks are?
No,
Okay.
I don't fuck with stocks.
You don't fuck with stocks? That's
No.
inefficient. Inefficient, that's what that is.
Yeah, probably.
Um,
Okay.
okay, well, I think you should. Anyways, so leverage stocks they're like they're like the derivatives. So they're based upon I'm not going to explain this to you people. It's based upon an underlying asset, like a different stock, but it's like compounded and there's a lot of financial math behind it. Anyways, but you are like it's like a betting system. Essentially, that's what leverage stocks are. Is you're betting, and what it is however much the underlying asset moves, the leveraged asset will move by a multiplier of that amount. So you can get like 3x, 2x, 4x leverage stocks. So if the underlying asset goes up by 1%, you'll go up by 4%. You know what I mean? But if it goes down by 1%, you're down by 4%. You know what I mean? So I was like, leverage, and you're not supposed to hold them for a long time. It's really more of like a day-to-day transaction. Anyway, so I bought these leverage stocks. Did not understand what I was doing. Held on to them. And just like the way the stock market works is that like if you hold on to them for a long period, you'll always lose money because those like downward the days that are if you go down 10%, you have to go up like 17% to make up that loss. Does that make sense? Because it's
It was
all
like starting at a bigger number.
yeah, essentially because it's all just the way the math works out. Like you have to go up a much bigger amount, and so since it's compounding that loss by times 4, you can see a few bad days wipe you out. So I did that kind of stuff, which was so stupid. Which like it's funny. I look at my Robinhood account from when I started doing that, and it like you can just see on the graph forever, permanently on my graph, it just be like start down. Like I always have to look at it. I'm always reminded of that every time I open my app because it's on my like all time graph.
Like showing you your shame. Like
Yeah,
remember
no,
that?
literally, it shows me that all the time. So I'm like, okay, whatever. Mm.
What's it called? I was thinking about like when I mentioned the people who like worked with our suppliers to like try to negotiate with a better deal sort of thing about the tariffs. Like I can't, it's one thing to be like us where like tariffs, impact us too, but like we're kind of in the same uh, bucket as everybody else.
Yeah.
But imagine being like one of these sourcing people working at one of these huge companies and having to like deal with these constantly changing
Mm.
like prescriptions for tariffs, and like you like do all this work for a month. He's saying, "Oh, I'm gonna, put these tariffs off," and you're like calling all these like Chinese suppliers and Taiwanese
Yeah.
suppliers, like, "Hey, what can you do with me?" It's like, "No, that's not good enough. No, you got," and then
I
like
know.
you strike a deal, good deal, and then the next day is like, we're putting a pause on it. We're
Yeah, like for everything you just did. That's a good
and
point.
like
Sourcing,
I
sourcing
would be
people.
pulling my hair out, man.
I know. Yeah, sourcing. I interviewed for a job in sourcing. Did you know that? It was
No,
at
that's
it was
awful.
at our old company.
That seems like a soul sucking job, honestly.
It seemed kind of cool. You have to like travel around. It was a supplier.
Yeah, but okay, so for all the sourcing people I've worked with, it seems like their like job is to like basically outsource everything. So
I know.
you know,
I thought it was cool because it was fully remote, and I think it was like a lateral. I think it was a lateral move at the time for me. I would have been into it because you had to travel around to all the plants and whatnot. Not even the plants, but like the suppliers, which I thought would have been pretty cool. I don't know, man. I want that. I want that. I want that business travel. I've never traveled for business, which
oh
I know you have, and I know you guys have been treated.
yeah, I'm actually going next weekend. So.
I don't even want to hear you because I know what they give you when you go travel, and it's sickening. It's disgusting that they spend that much money for you to just get fat as a pig and eat and eat and eat and go to all these trainings, and they're we're running out of money. I wonder what's
I
maybe should we let's keep sending these people out to all these places and spend thousands of dollars on their food. Like,
I definitely
don't act like you're better than it.
it's no, I'm not. I enjoy it. It's
Just like
great. It's I will admit it's a bit excessive, and I love it.
I know. I really yeah. So I haven't traveled, and I don't know if I'll have
Um,
a
you know what's
chance
funny?
to.
I guess this is like a grass is always greener sort of thing. Obviously, like objectively, the travel per diem stuff that I have is pretty great. But like,
Yeah,
there's this show called The Patriot. Really great show. Highly recommend it. But
yeah.
this dude's like a kind of like a spy, and he's like undercover at like a pipe engineering firm. Um, totally hilarious. But
Okay.
he gets to travel for work a lot to I think Europe. And dude, like they stay at like these super fancy places and go to super fancy dinners all the time. And I'm looking at it like, man, I'd love to like travel like
Yeah.
that.
Oh man, I interviewed at one job. Oh, I really wish I got this one. To be honest, this was like the second one I went to, and I was like, man, that was the one that was so cool. They did radio pharmaceuticals. Anyways, but that one I don't know which one that was. But people I was talking to was like, oh yeah, we just got back from France. We were in Spain last month, and then the month before that we were back in France, and we went to Italy the month before that. And we were there for 2 weeks each time. It was kind of a lot, but I'm like, oh, it was kind of a lot. Going to Europe on the company's dime was a lot. I'm like,
That real hardship,
that was a real hardship. And he was
really
like,
put me out. Mm,
which I'm like, I get it if you have to go there, like, if you go there just for like 2 days and come back, I get it. But if they're for like over
yeah,
a week, that's
yeah,
not that bad. You know what I mean? Like, come
yeah.
on, guys. And like your food's like I would save me money if I had to travel because like I wouldn't have to buy groceries. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Anyways,
that's I, it was such a hardship. I got to take my children and my wife, but like, we just want to
literally.
be home, hanging out with our, in our suburban place in downtown Kansas.
I know,
So,
like that's what I'm saying. It's just crazy to see or I don't know, I'd bring my wife. I'd work something out. I'd pay for her to come along with
oh
me if I
yeah,
had to be over there. Like
yeah,
for sure.
that just makes sense financially. I mean,
Yeah.
you'd be stupid not to, really.
I know. That's what I'm trying to say. That's why I want to get some travel like this.
Yeah,
Okay. Anyway, so maybe one day. Um okay, when I started okay, I have another topic for us to talk about. So when I started
I'll uh, go grab water. It's right there.
okay, go get your water. Okay, all good. Okay, this looks like so much better. I like
Well,
your camera.
I guess last time I was over here. I mean, it still feels like it's kind of like
I mean, yeah, it looks a little
running from
bright.
that angle.
This is the brightest it's gonna get where I live. This room is. I'll never forget one time. We had a meeting with like our manager's manager, and like we all had a video call with her, and like I was working from home from this office, and it was like early in the morning, and it was kind of like a cloudy day, and so like I didn't have that many lamps in here, so I turned all the lights on in this room in my office, and it looked like I was in a cave, like because our cameras are on, they're not usually on, so the camera was on, and so it looked like I was like sitting in a pitch black cave, and I don't even have all the lamps I have now, but
Didn't this happen when you were working with us?
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think I remember that meeting. I think I remember you turning your
I turned my
camera
camera
on.
off because I made an egg sandwich and I didn't realize this was like a camera on meeting.
Oh
I knew it
yeah.
was a meeting I would not be talking in, but I knew, so I made an egg sandwich and I was trying to eat it during this meeting, but all of our cameras were on. So I like covered the thing with I like covered up the camera and ate and then unplugged it and it was done. Sorry. It was just funny. Here's the next topic. So I came prepared, listeners. We care about
Oh
you
wow.
guys. Yeah, so I have a few things to talk about. Um, how old were you when I first started working with you?
When you first, how
Yeah, it
long
was
ago
like
was that?
3 years ago.
Then I would have been 27.
Oh, you're 27. Okay. Anyway, so like, well, first, did I tell you this? My buddy, he got fired. The guy who's next to me, he got let go.
Yeah, no, you did. Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, I actually was really
I
mad.
didn't know was he your buddy or was he
Yeah,
just
he
your?
was my buddy. He was my friend. He was new Austin. He was a good guy. He was a cool guy. So they cut his contract. They told him like the week before, which is like whatever. I'll say it, I'm a
Oh, one
contractor.
week.
Yeah, 1 week. Well, apparently they knew, but his agency didn't tell him until like yeah, right. Or maybe it was 2 weeks. I don't know, but he wasn't. He has a good head on his shoulder, so he's gonna be just fine. But he was like a little pissed. I was pissed. I was actually more mad than he was, to be honest. Um, but I'm a contractor too, which maybe that'll change. Who knows? But different team, different product, different kind of area. But I was just like mad. So I was like, I had like an existential crisis this week and last week. I was just like sitting around like fuming, just like mad, just like. Like, what's the point of going to work? There's no point in going to work. Work is so stupid. Anyways, I'm over it. I'm doing fine. But they hired someone new to take a
What?
spot.
What?
I know, right? But she does something different than what he's gonna do, which is like that excuse for why they hired this lady. So I'm like, what? So like, you got rid of this guy and just got someone new to do like a slightly different task. Like instead of transitioning a guy who's been here for 3 years to this role, you just rather fire him and hire someone else. You kidding me?
Hmm.
Anyways, and so
Is it
it's
like significantly different what she's doing?
yeah, it is. I would actually say it's significantly different.
Hmm.
So that's why, but still, it's not like it's not like a bubble. Like I think anyone can do what. Sorry, I don't want to talk too much. Anyways, but she just graduated college, or she's about to graduate college, and I'm like, is this how you felt when I first started?
Wait, she just graduated college, or is
She's
she
gonna
about to?
graduate in like next month, so she's already got the job.
Oh, wait, so she's not working there yet?
No, but she came in, so like I met her, and I'm
Wait,
just like, okay, yeah, go ahead.
what do you mean how I felt when you
Because
started?
I was like fresh out of college. How'd that feel? Like, because ever you were like, this guy's a little too eager, or you were like, he's
Oh,
too
yeah.
performative.
Well, I mean, you haven't really talked with her yet. When you first started, I was like, you were very, maybe bubbly isn't quite the right word, but it's near the right word.
When you are the bottom of the totem pole, you have to be. What do you
No,
mean?
I
Like,
know.
yeah.
No,
So
I
it's not
totally understand.
like
And
now I'm definitely way more myself now at work. Like way more myself, even when I was at the old place. Even now, I'm like, I'm not. There's not like that difference between like home Sam and work Sam isn't too big now. There's still a bit of a difference, but
no, I
like
remember being that way in my first job, and then also like in college, a lot of people are that way. Like in college, especially when they're like talking to like professors or
Oh yeah,
during like
people.
research internships and shit
Yeah.
like that. But like, and then there's some people who like kind of stay that way, like they're
Hmm.
like because they want to like they're very ambitious and they
Yeah,
just like that's their life. I can't imagine being that way like forever. Like
I
that
know.
sounds so exhausting.
She was giving off that kind of vibe, and it just made me think about the time that you were like, yeah, you guys were
Oh, you
like,
met her. Oh, okay.
yeah, I met her. That's what I'm trying to say. She was in yesterday, so it was just funny that I was like, wow, I was like, she's a little, go getter, Which I'm like, well, that's exactly what Boyan said I was when I started, so I can't blame her. But
Yeah,
anyway, it
well,
was just funny. It was just made me laugh at myself because I was like, wow, how far I've come. I used to be such like I wasn't like a poser. It was just like you have to be like a yes man when you first start a role.
yeah, no, you have to seem very eager.
Yeah, right.
Like,
Especially the situation I was in, which never panned out. All for it was all pointless.
well,
Anyways, it's whatever.
presumably it helped to get you where you are. So
Yeah, it did. I thought that was funny. I was like, LOL. Like this is just we'll see what happens, but
wait, so oh yeah, the school is about to end.
yeah, I have to
Just
get my brother's graduation down in down south. I'll say that.
from
And
college, right?
yeah,
Or-
from college, yeah, but he's going to graduate school, which was cool. Not like for he's getting his master's, but we're like, do we go down? His graduation's 9 a.m. on a Friday.
What?
9 o'clock on a Friday, and
Wait, so
it's
you have to take a day off work to go?
I to take the day off work. And do I leave the day before and then pay for a hotel and
Oh
then go to
shit.
9 a.m. or do I wake up at like 4 a.m.? It's not. Oh, it's
That's
more
not
like
fun.
maybe like five, but you know what I mean. Like do that, you get down there to save the money, but then like do we like he kind of wants us to stay the night on Friday? So do I do a 2 day trip? I'm gonna have to miss work Friday regardless. You know what I mean? Which I'm like, well, maybe I could do some work while we're down there. But anyways, why would I? So I'm like, I'm between a rock and a hard place here about what to do, and it's
Yeah,
coming
that kind
up.
of
It's like
sucks.
it's like next month. Yeah, I
I
know.
mean, I'm sure you love your brother, but man, you're kind of putting me out right
Yeah,
now.
I'm like, well, this trip's gonna cost you like $600. You kidding me? Like in
Dude,
lost.
like similar, not too similar of a situation, but I got invited to a few years back. Got invited to my brother's wife's brother's wedding. This is this is a guy I probably like hung out with like he was at my brother's bachelor party.
Right.
Maybe hung
Yeah.
out with him a couple times. Other than that, it was gonna be in Denver. I was like, I really don't want to spend like $1,000 to go out there for your wedding. Like
Yeah.
that's just like not worth it for me.
No, it is hard. Like even when people came to now that I have friends who are like getting married now, and, like doing stuff like that. I think it's important to be there for them. But I'm also like, wow, going to your wedding costs you money to put it on. Also costs me a pretty penny to attend. You know what I mean? Like at least $300. You know what I mean for like a hotel, food, and if
Yeah.
we're spending the weekend there, like even more than that. You know what I mean? Just to go visit someone plus the travel time, and if you're flying, even more.
Yeah, no, flying is especially because like for a wedding, like it's one thing when you're going on vacation or something, you can kind of like search for cheap flights and shit like that.
Oh yeah,
But when it's for a wedding, there's a date, and you have
yeah.
to be there at that date. Like so, you
you
know,
pull you pull up Google flights, and it's like in
yeah,
red the
it's kind
dollar
of like
amount.
whatever the price is what you're stuck with.
Yeah, I know.
So
But at least like most of the time, like maybe like 4 or 5 months in advance, so you could probably find a good deal. Hopefully by then, but even then, sometimes you can't. So
it's
yeah,
been a very long time since I've like booked a flight like for a specific date. Now that I think about it,
yeah.
like
Well,
I'm usually just looking for the deals, or it's like for work, and they just
I
pay.
I know. I wish I could do that. We were something we talked about since my wife is a public servant. Thank you very much. Her, yeah, salute the troops. Yeah, yeah. Between two cubes, salutes the troops. Yeah.
Our teachers.
And our teachers. All her breaks are pinned in. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
her fall break, her spring break, and they're only a week long too, and their summer break. So like, if I want to do like a 2-week vacation in the fall, I can't. It's impossible. You know,
And those obviously coincide with when all the children are
right? When other
break.
families are traveling. So like, I mean, it's not like that big of a deal because I would rather do my 2-week vacation. If even I do a 2-week vacation, it's still kind of, those are kind of few and far between in the summer, so it works out. But then like, if we are gonna do a vacation in the winter, spring, or the fall, it has to be this 1 week, and that is it. You know what I mean? And even with like, they just don't. They really, the administration just does not like it if you're like, oh no, I'm just gonna be gone for this week from school. See ya. Like they just don't like that kind of stuff. So
So
anyways.
they don't want anybody to take vacations.
Yeah, outside your breaks. Some people do, but it's like you also don't get that many personal days. You get like 4 personal days a year.
What about like extending your breaks?
I mean, yeah, we could do that. We could probably. I think that'd be the only solution. Would be like you have to take a personal day, like before or after the break to like leave a little bit sooner, which you can do that. That's fine. But like they don't. If you're gonna be gone a week, they usually they frown on that pretty strongly. Word gets around the school if you do something like that, and people talk about you. So I'm like, do we need to invest in like better sets? You know, well, you gotta get the better mics. I got a good mic. You gotta get your good mic.
Well, I do have a microphone, but technically I'm doing this podcast on my work computer. I don't know.
That's a good point. Oh no, Sam, my real computer is like completely broken.
Yeah.
I do everything on my work computer. Also, my work computer is like pretty powerful. It's big. It has like an extra graphics card in it for
I
like
guess I could try doing
computations.
it upstairs. I haven't checked to see how good the lighting is upstairs.
Nah, you're good
I'll
then.
try it out.
Looks good. Did
So,
you ever maybe you come over and see how much you progressed in your place? It looks like
well,
a
it's
lot better.
definitely a lot different than the one time you
Sorry, dog. Yeah, I bet.
yeah.
How many times have you been to
Uh,
my place? Like twice?
I think I've only been to your place once, and it was just like to.
I think, and that was when it looked really dumb. Back before that was a long time ago.
When it
I
looked
was
really
feeling it.
dumb.
Oh yeah, it still looks pretty bad, but we've like spruced it up a little bit.
Oh, okay.
So we got
Do
some
you
more
still
stuff going
have
on.
your name splattered everywhere?
My name? Oh
Yeah.
yeah, it's all over the place. Oh my gosh.
Cutting
Any-
boards, photos, what's it called? Photos
si-
of signs with your names on it.
Signpost. Yeah, we got
Signpost.
that was a wedding gift. It's like our last names in a signpost. And my dad saw it. He thought it was so cool, so he got one. So there's one in his house of all of him and his families. Well, I'm not. My name's not on it, but it's like my step siblings' names are on it. So I'm like, okay, I see how it is. Okay.
Um,
Anyways,
if you invite me over, I'll bring a label maker and help
then
you
we could
out.
put more names.
Yeah,
Yeah, that'd be good. That'd be good.
yeah.
What were we talking about? We talked about. Okay. Anyway, who cares? Forget that. So the next thing I want to talk about is we've been cross posting episodes onto YouTube,
Right.
and they've been doing pretty good. They're not too bad, but there is a YouTube like post system you can do where you can just like make posts on YouTube and like post it to your
X post or
subscribers.
what?
No, it's just like it's like a blog, kind of like a Twitter feature.
A blog. Isn't the podcast kind of a blog in
I mean, it
itself?
is, but like I've been making posts, so um, they're kind of like silly.
You
They're,
have? Oh
yeah,
shit, I haven't seen these.
you should go check them
I'll have
out.
to check them out. Yeah.
They kind of go hard. They're like a little I don't know, a little angsty. Anyway, so like
Don't make the podcast YouTube. What's it called? blog, some like your own personal art,
Well, it kind of is.
art
I've just
blog or
been
some
like,
shit.
I'm just like I'm putting my
But
thoughts out there. So I think
uh,
I'm gonna do that. Is I'm gonna leave. I'll make some posts on the YouTube. You guys go check it out and like go ahead and you can respond. I'll respond back to you. I don't care.
would
That
be
thing
like
stays. Yeah.
art critique from your uh, art critiques from a what an office space or a cubicle.
Cubicle review. Oh, that'd be
Yeah.
a good episode. We go review cubicles.
I don't think so. I
It'd
don't know if
be
I
kind of
agree
hard to
with that.
do. Walk around with cameras at each of our work.
It's like,
Oh,
can we come in?
here we
Can we
go.
come in here and check out your cubicles?
Just or you know what you could do? Just walk around and take pictures. Oh no, that's what we'll do. Walk around. We'll just take pictures of people's cubicles, and we can talk about them on the podcast.
How are you going to walk around taking pictures of people's
At the
cubicles?
end of the day, just when they're gone.
Are you talking about? You're talking about like on our own at work
At
and
our
then
own,
have
we could talk
podcast.
about doing that.
Oh,
That might be a little sketchy, but that could be hilarious. I don't know if our coworkers would appreciate that.
yeah,
Hopefully,
I don't
I
know
don't have
about
any
that,
listeners.
man.
We can think about it. That'd be a pretty hard one to do.
Well, we could just walk around. We could just talk about the cubicles, I guess, from memory. Like that would be not as creepy and weird.
Okay. Well, maybe. Okay. How about the middle ground is I'll take some pictures of cubicles, and then we can just go through the list. And well, that's not nearly as fun. Also, I hate when we talk about.
We still have that the tier list
I know the
episode.
tier list. Still have
That
to do
one
that one.
was
That's
actually a pretty decent idea.
is actually way more work than I thought it was going to be.
What do you mean? How so?
I have to like find all these pictures and like make all these captions and write all this
Oh,
stuff
really?
down.
I thought. Don't you
I
just need like I assume it's like some like website or something that everybody
Yeah, the
uses.
website does it makes it really easy, but you have to like upload all these photos. So that's still a work in progress. So don't worry about that. That'll come out one day, guys.
Do you need
Um,
input
yeah, I need like
on
more
items to
ideas.
include?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Oh yeah, maybe no. I don't want the listeners to do anything. This is all for them and for us. This was, maybe one day this podcast is big enough, we'll put it on we'll put it on our resume. How funny would that be?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, we also run a successful national syndicated podcast.
That would wait syndicated? Do people
That
syndicate
no, it's
that
just
thing?
like that'd be like if NPR bought our podcast and just like issued
Ooh,
episodes
that'd
on
be
the radio.
dude. I'd be all about that.
Yeah,
Even
right.
though we'd totally not fit in.
I don't think we really match their vibe.
No.
I don't think we have the rigor. Um,
Yeah,
anyway,
probably
dude,
not.
I have a love hate relationship with NPR. I listen to St. Louis Public Radio on my drive to work, which like syndicates NPR. And sometimes I'm like, oh, that's enlightening, and then sometimes I'm like, man, who cares about any of this? Not me. I'm like, skip. Like, you remember the whole like Amelia Perez? You know what that is?
Oh, the movie?
Yeah, the movie. So like universally panned. Like people did not like that movie. It was bad. But like of course NPR is like this movie is groundbreaking. This movie is phenomenal. We love this movie. And it's like so bad that it's like a meme about how bad it is.
Yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah.
so I'm like I'm not saying that that's like what I hate about it. I'm just saying like they're talking about this movie which I just don't care about or just weird stuff like that. And I'm like, okay,
Well,
this is
with
kind of
the
boring.
at least with the art stuff, like whenever they have artists or whatever directors or anything
Oh
like
yeah.
that, they always just talk them up. I don't think I've ever heard they're not gonna like go in and be like, I didn't really like Amelia Perez.
Or
Do you
like
think it was
when
a bad movie? Like, do
yeah,
you
right.
regret it?
Or like when I remember when David Lynch died, I was love that guy. His work is pretty weird. I love Twin Peaks. I love that. Those shows are. Have you ever watched Twin Peaks?
No.
Okay, well you definitely. I have the box set if you want it. You can watch it. It's
Ooh,
no,
do
I'm
you have
like
a box set? You as a
yeah,
Gen Zer has a box set?
I do. There's no way else to watch it. You have to like buy it online, which I'm like it's cheaper just get the box set.
I guess you own
Um.
vinyl, so you probably have some analog shit, don't
Oh
you?
yeah. All these cameras. I just got my first
Well, I didn't
digital
know it
camera.
extended to box sets, man. I don't even know
Well,
if I had box
I
sets.
have I have the box set of Twin Peaks and The Office, and that's it. And that's just because I'll say this, and we'll go back to David Lynch. But like, I think it's been enough time. People were crazy about The Office for like 10 years, and I got sick of it. But I think enough time has passed that now I can rewatch The Office and be like, this is funny. Like this is actually funny, and I don't need all that. I don't need all that hype. I don't need all the Jim and Pam hype or the shipping. I don't need all that. I can just watch it and be like, this is a funny show without all the outside world like gassing it up constantly.
Well, it's like I really like The Office, and I think it's a great show. Obviously, it's like kind of a bit, it's quite a bit overplayed, but
Yeah,
I feel like it's very associated with millennials. Like,
yeah, I know.
what is it? Millennial core.
It is.
That's The
I will say
Office.
it is millennial core, probably because it like I remember when I watched it on Netflix. That was like the golden era of Netflix is when they just had like shows like that you could just watch. I watched that when I was in high school, and I was like, "This is so funny." But like, it's funny that like, it was funny to me as a kid, but now as an adult, it's like funny for different reasons because it's like cringy. Like it's funny for like reasons where I'm like it's just like it's a different kind of funny when you're older. Like you just get it more. I don't know if that makes sense, but anyway.
I
So
mean, the
okay,
show's kind of
yeah,
supposed to be cringy, but
yeah, I know, I get it. Anyway, so okay, enough about that. So when David Lynch died,
right.
they're talking about his over. Whoa, that was a big
Is
word.
what?
Over.
I don't think I know that word.
That means like his filmography, all of his
I think
works.
that might be the first time you stumped me on a word.
Oh, really? Okay.
Over? How do you
Yeah,
spell that?
you dumb idiot. It's like OUVRE or something like that.
Yeah, I don't think that. Right. Okay. Okay, I got you.
Over. It's French. The works of a painter, composer, or author regarded collectively. So it's like all the works you produce. And they're like, his movies are fantastic. Like he's a great, he would truly be. They do like the whole like whenever someone important dies, they have the memorial, so they'll read
Right.
out stuff about him. And they talk about it. Then they had like his interview with like some of his old interviews they played too. And I'm like, wow, you guys, wow, yeah, he's a great. Have you ever seen Eraserhead? Have you ever seen Blue Velvet? These are not like approachable movies. Like, like these are like hard to watch. Like they're not like you know what I mean. Like they're not like
Yeah.
easy movies to get into. Or do I think majority of Americans like them? But his later works, like Twin Peaks, that was great. I think that was very well done. Or see, I can't even name some of his later stuff, but just like funny, just like funny to be like this guy whose movies are so hard to get into, or just like gassing him up. Like there was like the critiques of him is that they are like too surrealist and too weird for the general public, which like you know what I mean. What I'm trying to say, whatever.
Well, I
Anyways,
mean, they're just trying to. I guess they're just trying to gas up all those people who die and shit on NPR. They don't. I don't think NPR has like much to say about. If you're listening to NPR for it's like, you know, art reviews or movie reviews, it's the wrong place to go. Like, there's
yeah,
not much
they're
to
not.
glean from their stuff.
Sorry, I have to text my wife. Anyways, no, I completely agree with you. I okay, I don't. This is not what I want to talk about, but I read a lot of art criticism. So there's one that's based here in St. Louis, the Midwest Art Quarterly, which I'm a subscriber.
Man, it only took you what 14 episodes to bring that up.
Leave me alone. I love my art. I love
I
my art.
expected it to be or sooner, a
I
lot
love
sooner.
my art criticism. I print them out. I print them out and I staple them together and I read them like a magazine because it's electronically disseminated.
Do you staple them together like just in the corner or like
Just in the
like
corner. I'll make notes about it as I read through them. I love the Midwest. He hasn't, but he's behind. We're supposed to be on volume 3, quarter 1, but he hasn't posted it. And that was due in January, so I think he kind of stopped. But anyways, I love my art criticism. And another big one I read is the Manhattan Art Review. So it's just like some dude out in New York who just like reviews stuff. I think he does a pretty good job. But their whole thing is like art sucks, and you guys are brainwashed to think that art like just because essentially it boils down to just because a museum or a gallery puts it on the wall does not mean it's good. Because it's like they just want essentially it's like anti-gallery, it's like anti-establishment because it's like you as a citizen usually probably don't know what is good or good, like what is good or bad art. I think everyone could know what bad art is. Like I think you could see something bad and you're like, I don't get it and I don't like it. But they're
Maybe.
like,
I feel like for like it depends what type of bad
yeah.
art.
But I think universally you can see some bad art and you're like, this is kind of bad. Like I don't really get this here. And I think that's the easier. I think it's harder when it comes to good art. I think it's easier to say things are bad than they are good. So what they talk about a lot is just like all these galleries and all these little art museums are like they're trying to be these tastemakers, which they're not actually are. They're just like people who are they have these agendas to have certain artists and to like say certain things and to put art in a certain term that might be expressing more than what the art actually is. So it's like I guess one way to think of it is if you need to read all of the literature the gallery gives you, the artist statement, the press release, read every legal detail about what's on the walls discussing the art to like understand what's happening, that might not be good art. I'm just saying, like, and
Well, also, I mean, part of interpreting art is also the person who's looking at it. I feel like
yeah,
a lot of the people, I would include myself, who are looking at the art, like they don't, they don't spend all day, all week, like looking at all art constantly and
yeah,
interpreting
true,
it.
true, true.
So, like, they're going to a museum, like, maybe twice a year, and they're
Yeah.
not like really thinking about art. Um,
Oh,
so I
is that
just
Kaiser?
picked up. Yeah, that was me.
It's Kaiser.
So like I just started reading one of the I think I mentioned it on the podcast, Invisible Monsters by Chuck Palahniuk.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Um, and I haven't really like read novels in a long time.
yeah.
Back in like high school, I used to do that in my free time, and I loved English class, like interpreting books and all
Sure,
that
sure.
stuff. And I was pretty good at it, but like now, like I definitely lost that skill,
Yeah. No, for
and
sure.
I feel like that's part like in museums, somebody like that dude who writes like an entire critique. I'm sure he feels that way, and that's totally understandable, and he's right to a degree.
Yeah.
But at the same time, a lot of people go to museums, they don't know shit about art. They just want to be told what to think and
Yeah,
how
that's
to
a good
feel
point.
about it.
I think the difference
Um,
is like the accessibility of these galleries, like how easy it is to go to them. And like, are you actually just like if you go to if you go to a gallery like twice a year, you're gonna miss. Usually they do like usually galleries might do monthly exhibitions or like sometimes they'll do like a year long exhibition or sometimes they'll do like a by month or by yearly. They'll have two different things to show. So like if you're only going once a year, you're only seeing a small fragment of what they're putting on, and you're also just not like engaging with art that all that often. And it's hard to say that many people do. Like even I do read all these things. I read all these reviews. I look at the pictures they post. I look at the art online. I do go to the art museum quite a lot, pretty frequently, and like you go there, you try to experience it, and just like see what it speaks to you, or just see how it feels. But definitely, probably for the average person, it's not not that applicable. But also this like art criticism writing, just really for the average person. No, it's for people who care. You know what I mean? So like you have
yeah.
to really seek it out to find it. You're not just gonna like somehow also, they're the Midwest art review uses pretty obtuse language in my opinion. So much
Oh,
so
yeah, no, I
yeah, you
remember that.
remember? It's so
Yeah.
much so that it is like who's this written for? This is written for people who talk and think like you, which are like I don't know, maybe like 200 people in all the St. Louis area. Like, is this really written? This is written for you. This is not written for readers. That's what I'm trying to say. And so I think the Manhattan Art Review guy does a good job because he isn't too like that, but still a little bit. And then there's this third guy I watch on YouTube. He's called the Yearbook Club. That's what he's called, and he's an art criticism, and he's a series called Scorned by Muses. So like the things which inspire you are like scorned at you because you're not doing a good job with your art. Anyways, there's beef between the Manhattan Art Review guy and the Scorned by Muses guy, and they call each other out. Um, I like the Manhattan Art Review guy more because the Score My Muses guy is like a Marxist and his worldview is very like historically centered, or like history or systems of history, which is a Hegelian. Okay, whatever. Hegelian thought. So the guy who worked with Marx or he informed Marx. Marx's writing is based off of Hegel's work, and Hegelian thought is like this focus on a part of it is like how history systems work and like what led to the situation you are in today. And so if you have a bad theory, the idea if you have a bad theory of history, you don't truly understand what's happening. It's very old school thought. It's very Marxist, not in that like it's like communist or socialist. It's like just like Marxists in his like philosophical thought. And there's just some weird stuff he says, and he puts emphasis on things which I don't think there's actually any emphasis on. Or it's also like, who even cares about this? Like, end of the day, this doesn't like all this crap you're saying about this work of art means nothing, and like it just is crap. Anyway, so there's a lot of beef. They fight a lot, and they'll
What
call
is
each other.
the
Yeah.
what are the beefs about? Like what
Oh, it's about
different
like
opinions on the art or
yeah,
what?
different opinions on art. They'll go to like a show, or like for example, the Manhattan Art Review guy, he got called out in a video by the Scorned by Muses guy because he was like, I think he was wrong on this gallery. I think this gallery is impactful and meaningful and it really says something, or like just stuff like that. And then the Manhattan Art Review guy will, in his blog, post a response. And he had one called Cornering the Critics, which I thought was actually really good, well written. And he was just like calling out all these art critics who have prominent things they've talked about and how they're all wrong and how it's just like pandering and how like they're misinformed and how the art's actually bad. And he'll just go through it all. And it's like great. And I love it. And it I don't know, it keeps happening and it's just great to read.
That's like such like narrow um like specific like drama.
I
Like
know.
it's like
It's crazy. I don't know how I
probably
got
very
here.
few people know about it, but
Yeah.
I'm sure in there, especially those two critics, they're probably totally enveloped in it.
Oh
And
yeah.
it's a huge part of their life, but like
No, dude, it's
it's
great.
like such a little specific
It's great. I
area
guess
of it.
I guess okay. I think I want to nix this because this is just a convoluted conversation. But I will say this: of all the galleries that they review and talk about, there's loads. And like you look at some of the stuff they put up, and you're like, what is this? This is like this doesn't make any sense. Like this is art. This is supposed to be. This is supposed to have some kind of aesthetic experience with a viewer, but like you look at it and you're like, this doesn't make any sense. Like not even that doesn't make any sense. Like it feels cheesy, or it feels like too saccharine, or it feels so like forced. And so like they just call it out. And and you know I say all this, and there's like way more art galleries in New York than here in St. Louis, but it's like there really are people with masters of fine arts who want to cling to their authority and cling to their education and cling to their status in the gallery to say they're a tastemaker and then put out like crap, like bad curations. That's my thought. That's all I'm going to say about it. But it's just like, I think it's more of like an anti-establishment kind of vibe, and that they're feeding you slop. You know what I mean? Like, and you're happy with it. That's the gist. That's the gist.
It's hard for me to. I've never really been good with visual art,
Yeah.
and
I mean, I'm
um,
not the best either,
like
but
you know, I've always, I guess, gravitated towards like film and
yeah.
music and even literature. But
Wait, you mean things which are approachable? Things that people like? Yeah, that's what I'm saying, man. Like
well, I mean,
people like those things for a reason because they're good.
well, people like visual art too, but usually, like it's a lot more common to just appreciate visual art on a very surface level.
Yeah.
Whereas I feel like with film and other stuff, people will also go a little bit deeper.
Yeah. And there's more like I guess you know that what you just said is like what America thinks and what America wants. Like they like stuff like that. So whenever you have like you go into these art realms, which is it's like an echo chamber, and they're like for example, painting is like held at a super high regard. Oh, painting is the vanguard of art. Like, and there's galleries which like will not show if they're like digitally altered, digitally made, or they're not paintings. They don't show them. They're just like, no, this is not. This is inferior. Like sketches, drawings, these are inferior. Even like photography. Like I know, this is a whole other conversation, but like photography back in the early 1900s, people were like, it's a gimmick. It means nothing. And it's taken like 100 years for it to be like more serious art form. Even today, you have a really hard time finding like art, like photography in galleries. You have to like seek it out
So
because they,
here's an
yeah,
interesting question. So obviously, so I understand with photography why people consider it kind of a gimmick back then, and even today, like some like if somebody were to open up, I don't know, Adobe Illustrator and paint something, somebody might be like, "No, you're not you doing it physically. That's
yeah,
not real art." Do you think there will ever be a point in the future? Because right now, I think people don't consider this to be art. Do you think a point in the future where like doing AI shit will be considered
art.
by the bulk of people as art?
Yeah, because well, first of all, there already are. There was a few galleries I read about who had an artist who made AI prompts, created AI images, but he then painted the images on the canvases, and that's what was being displayed. And that is like, so what was done here? You just a computer made this. What are you trying to say? Like you're using it, you use a computer to generate these, but you're the one who painted them. So are you like the original author? Like, is your statement about AI and art, or are you just trying to say that these are my paintings, which I used AI to help me make? And it was like, how can you express something which a computer made completely for you, and you're just a copy machine putting it on the canvas? So like, I don't know, man. Even now, that's already happening today.
That actually, you saying that somebody that the person is kind of just a copy machine. There's probably like some art to be made where like okay, the person is the copy machine, even though we're supposed
Yeah,
to be going towards like
yeah.
the opposite.
I could see like some kind of like stupid
Yeah,
installation, some kind of
yeah,
stupid performance piece where it's like a
yeah, man.
human copier. Um,
Have you ever seen performance pieces?
I've seen one. It was at the Pulitzer Art Center. Have you ever been there before?
No.
It is. It goes hard. That place is cool. The building is made by Andor. Oh, what's his name? He's a famous architect. Andor. Let me look it up.
And we're talking about how people don't really engage too much with visual art, or at least not at a more than surface level. Now, performance art, like, especially like non, you know, I don't know, theater sort of stuff, that is very rare for people to be into.
Yeah. Anyway, so I was at the Pulitzer Art Center, and it was on Scott Bertram, who made a bunch of chairs as like aesthetic objects. So he would like, first of all, he would just like find chairs and be like, this is art. And then he started making his own chairs. But the performance was these people in like white shirts and light washed jeans, black loafers, were walking around the gallery and interacting with his chairs in like various ways. And there was four of them, and it wasn't even like a dance. They were like walking around, like waving to each other, like signaling to each other, sitting in the chairs in very weird positions. And it was supposed to represent like the underground LGBTQ stuff in the 60s and 70s, and how like you couldn't be out. You had to be like closeted or like hidden away. And it was like they're like signaling to each other through their dances and through how they sit in the chairs, which I'm like, okay, it was kind of cool, but it was also just like mostly really weird. Like, that's all I can say. It was very strange.
Yeah, I definitely have a I I like art that can be enjoyed on multiple levels. Like you can enjoy it like very superficially, and you can also like take the time to like dive deeper and enjoy it that way.
Yeah,
Like there's plenty of like we just talk about David Lynch, like some of his earlier work. Super,
like
nobody's
yeah,
just like watching it like as a
yeah.
on
That's
a
a good point.
Friday night just to hang out.
Like have you ever seen Blue Velvet?
No.
Okay, anyways, well, like though it's all like this weird seedy underbelly. Well, just real fast about this idea of like you can just watch the film and be like, that was weird, And then you can watch it and be like, oh, it was representing like how, as a kid and part of growing up, is realizing there's like evil in the world, and realizing that there's like a seedy underbelly to everything, kind of, and that there's like things happening behind the curtain which you can't see. And so like in the movie, it's like this kid is like going through this weird experience, and like in the film, it's like it has this weird focus shot on all these bugs in the grass, and then at the end of the film, it's like going away from the bugs in the grass, and so it like represents like he is going into the dirt and the grime, and then at the beginning, and so it's his journey, and at the end, him like coming out of the him emerging from this experience like better off than he was when it started. But like you don't, it would never. Movie doesn't say that. That's what these like bugs imply. So like yeah, I do enjoy stuff like that where it's like, oh yeah, I didn't think of it like that. Like more less straightforward things like that.
There's like people can make, music, novels or whatever, like that are eye candy or ear candy or
Yeah,
whatever. And that's great. And then they can also make like super weird shit where they're trying to say something complex and supposedly deep or whatever. And that's that's nice. A lot of times it's like kind of terrible and
yeah,
unenjoyable. What like what is like super difficult, and I feel like the probably like the apex of what any artist should, maybe not should be trying to do, but could do, is like combining those two, having something that's enjoyable, like,
yeah.
and also, if somebody takes the time to like really delve into it,
They
like
can find deeper things
can
going on.
find
Yeah,
more than just the surface level.
I know because it's like okay, like the Marvel movies. People love them, but they're really just telling you what's going on. There's nothing really more under the surface there. You know what I mean? So I think there's a fine line between like art films, which are so like niche, like who's this made for, versus like say like an animated film for a kid, where it's like this is enjoyable, like purely for like little kids, and then everything is in between those two poles of like, oh yeah, there's this cool stuff going on here, like I don't know,
I mean, there's
like
been
the
plenty of like, I think there's
yeah,
plenty of movies that you could point to that were like popular and also like weren't just like, you know,
they meant something.
just popcorn flicks.
Yeah,
Like, sorry to go back to Chuck Palahniuk, but
yeah, I do read for this.
like Fight Club,
Fight
like
Club.
a lot of dumbasses love that movie.
I
Like,
know.
but it's like, so I actually read a little bit about it because I'm reading the other book by him, and he wrote that book as a satire about like masculinity because
Yeah,
he's a gay man, which I didn't know.
yeah.
So like it's very much like
No, I know.
critique
Yeah,
on it.
I love watching like the film YouTube videos. They talk about like movies and stuff like that, or like cool like production quirks of movies, or even like actors or characters to break down things like theatrically, like bring things down. And like a great one I watched was talking about how it is like anti-masculine because you have like I mean, how bad does it get? They fight each other, and then you have these like shirtless, brazen men crying, hugging each other after they fight, like to break down these barriers to like be expose their inner self. You know what I mean? Like, but you just see, oh, they're fighting. I love that. Like that's all people see. You don't see like what it actually like means to them. That it's like a life changing experience, and then they're becoming more open to each other. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
So
no, it's I don't know if I'll ever read that book, but I'm really enjoying the book I'm currently reading. And it's funny, what he actually wrote Invisible Monsters, the one I'm reading
mhm.
first, and he tried to get it published, and they wouldn't publish it because it was too gruesome. And
Really,
then they published Fight Club, and it was like such a success that they published his other novel,
there you go.
which is hilarious because like I haven't read, the novel version, but I assume Fight Club isn't the like most peachy of
No,
novels.
but there's a you can hear like in Fight Club, the director or the author, I forgot his name, but he's like that movie was better than the book. Like he said that on record that the movie does a better job of expressing what he wanted to than the book did.
That's
Um,
awesome.
anyways, but he was like, this might be the only case where the movie is better. Something along the lines of this is the only case where the movie is better than the book. So that's funny. Have you ever heard of a spec script before? So like if you're gonna write a movie for some Hollywood studio, you have this like, ooh, this awesome spec script, which is like a story you came up with, and you write out the whole script for it, and you give it to studios, and you're like, this is what I'm capable of, and they read it, and you're like, but you can't have that script. Here's another one I wrote, and so you have a spec script which kind of like dangles and shows off your talent, and attempts to sell a different script.
Huh.
So there's a few spec scripts, and sometimes spec scripts aren't made into movies. It's kind of strange. It's like more of an idea, just to be like, they can make this, which that's a pretty good spec script, but we're trying to sell you this other script they wrote. And like maybe if you do the other script, you can make their spec script movie, because maybe there's enough like, does that make sense? It's like a weird, it's just the industry is what I've heard. But
I kind of get it, but at the same time, it's very weird.
here, 1 second. Let me see. See if there's any good ones. Good Will Hunting was a spec script. American Beauty spec script.
Oh wow.
Thelma and Louise. I've never seen that one actually. Anyways, there you go. Yeah.
Heavy
hey,
hitters.
This is like a very insightful podcast. Okay. Anyways, guys, we'll keep going for a little bit, but yeah, go to the YouTube and look at the posts I make and respond, and I'll respond back to you guys. I feel like I like Spotify, but I feel like it doesn't do a good job of letting me like communicate better with the people.
Oh,
not that they're really communicating with us, but I just like that.
Yeah, no, I could see that. I mean, I don't know. I don't feel like people really comment on podcasts compared to YouTube videos. I feel
Yeah,
like
that's true.
it's not as common. Um, I don't know if that's. I don't really look at comments for podcasts really. It's not obviously for ours, but like, you know, whereas YouTube videos, I look at the comments almost every
True.
time.
So how about people just comment more everywhere you can, just comment. We'll respond back to you eventually. It's going to take me a little bit, but we'll get back to you. This does not relate. Let's change gears. I was talking to Peter the other day. Peter.
Oh yeah.
Anyways, he was showing me. I went to his cubicle. I was trying to talk to someone else, but I stop by and talk to him every now and then. He was showing me this like laser module he's working on. That whatever. Who cares? This like laser thing he's working on. And he like turned it on and he was like, check this out. And it like turned on and it showed all these like bright lights were like shining against his cubicle wall. And he was like, I've been working on this for a long time. And I'm like, it kind of goes hard. It was just like a laser machine. And then he was telling me that he can just turn this laser on whenever he wants, and it's like a dangerous laser. Like it will like like destroy your eyesight if you like look at it. And he just like has it ready to go. Anyways, but
Wait, so is this for one of your guys' products or for like some testing or what?
oh, it's for our product. There's a bunch of stuff this product does. It's a big thing. But
So I've heard
involved. Yeah,
it's a big deal, huh?
it's a big deal. Yeah, it's supposed to bring in. Yeah, it's huge. You kidding me?
Do you get to like? Is it like a strong enough laser that you can't like be in the room with it and stuff like that, or?
I don't know. I'm pretty sure it is. Well, I have to go get my. So this is great. I have to go get an eye exam, paid for by the company, and if there is a laser accident at work, people who are nearby have to go get another eye exam, and we can see if like your eyesight decreased and that as a result of this accident at work, because we're around lasers sometimes. Is that crazy? So I'm doing that on Monday. So.
Well, hopefully you don't have any accidents like that.
Yeah, I know.
Blinded by the light,
Blinded, yeah. Oh, I hate to be blind.
Revved up like a douche or whatever.
Yeah, revved up like a deuce. Deuce. It's a motorcycle.
Wait, what is that lyric? I don't know.
Blinded by the light, revved up like a deuce in the middle of the night.
Deuce?
Deuce.
Like two?
Yeah, two. It's a type of motorcycle, or it's like a motorcycle brand.
Okay.
Have you ever? Who sings that song?
I have no idea.
It's not Bruce Springsteen.
It's like one of those random. Man, we really need to get a Google guy, you know?
Yeah, I know. Me when I was searching up those spec scripts. I was
Okay,
like,
it's definitely not the weekend. Blinded by the light, revved up like a deuce. Yeah, it's definitely. I probably looked up this song before, but it's Manfred Mann. I don't even
I have no
doesn't
idea
sound
who
familiar.
that is.
Manfred Mann. That's a funny name. For is it a
Man,
band or a person?
Manfred Mann. Hi, I'm Manfred Mann.
Album The Roaring Silence. Oh, that's a very clever album name. The
What was it?
Roaring Silence.
Oh, oh man. Do you ever like see? I'm trying to like collect combinations of cool words like that to like title things. Does that make sense?
Do you think
Like
that's a cool combination? I feel like that's a
not
terrible album name.
sound, rolling sound. No, no. I mean like no. I'm not saying that's like phenomenal. I was saying, do you ever like see like this is my artwork and it's called X, or like this is my blank, it's called X. Like this is my company
Wait,
name, it's this.
Are you Elon Musk or?
What? No. But no, you get what I'm saying. You ever see like cool names for things, and you're like, oh, it's like such a simple combination, but so good. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, I've seen that. Yeah.
Yeah.
What
So
are you writing them down for
I try
stuff?
I try to write some down just for like future use.
That's
So
fair enough.
I have like two, or like a song title, or like stuff like that. Like just things which have like a proper name that like you named yourself. Anyways, I have these neighbors who they're outside my window right now. Maybe they can hear me. There's just neighbors who are above us, and they have a cute little dog. The dog is like adorable, but they both look very sickly, like frail and like weak. And we call them we call them the sickly neighbors. Isn't that so stupid? It's not very nice. I know I shouldn't, but they just look like a stiff gust of wind would blow them both over.
Well, that's
like,
so.
like
Are,
seriously,
are they just like skinny, or do they look like
they're
sick?
skinny. They walk very slowly. They do this
Are
one
they
kind of.
older or like?
No, they're like younger than me.
Oh wow.
They have this weird. They do this weird little shuffle.
Hmm.
That'd be so sad if that was like our biggest fan right there. But
Sickly stuff shuffle.
yeah, they just look like they're like something's wrong with them. Like they need like some kind of help.
Oh damn, man.
Damn. Okay.
Yeah, probably don't share that nickname with them.
Yeah, I don't think so. Oh yeah, another thing we just like got we have this couple who lives across the breezeway from us, so across the hall, quote unquote,
Hmm.
from us, and we like. I've always been like, oh, will we, won't we, like go talk to them? They've been here for a year. We've never like officially talked to them, and they're like just like us. We went to this open house, ran into them, so now we're like best friends. We played pickleball together, and we were talking, and like he went to the school I went to. Doesn't do doesn't do what I do, but does a pretty similar thing. She is essentially a teacher too. Both they long distance. Both are like this had like a very similar life story to us, and it was just like I'm like you people have been living here this whole time, and we run into them at an open house. Like how weird is that? It's just strange.
Dude, that one time happened to me, and I kind of hated it. Like,
Why?
it made me feel like I don't know, just like more like a statistic or more like not unique, you know? So that
I
actually
mean,
happened one time with a couple, but like there's another time way back last year actually, when I was doing the high point for New Mexico.
yeah,
So I did the high point, and then after that I was staying like right next to it in this like little like ski valley sort of shopping hotel stay area. I
yeah,
was staying there. I was having a drink in this bar, and initially I was the only person in there. Then this other guy walked in, and before that guy walked in, I'd been talking with the bartender like for I don't know maybe half an hour, and I talked a little bit about oh yeah I'm here to do the high point. I've done this many blah blah blah. This dude walks in, and he's like Oh yeah, I'm here to do the high point. He had the same job as me. Like, I was like, oh my god.
like same industry or the same job?
Same industry
That's
rather.
crazy.
Well, not industry, like same, like kind of title,
That's
like same
hilarious.
broad title.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But he had only done like I don't know, like 3 or 4 high points. He hadn't done that many.
Yeah.
But like it still
Cope.
felt like, oh my god, like oh, please don't look at me. I swear, like this is something that makes me kind of unique that I
I know.
do.
I feel you. Yeah, I do like definitely cling to the things which make me different from other people. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I think everyone does a little bit, but it's also like, wow, it was just funny to be like, these people are like us, like they're just like an inverse image of us, of me and my
yeah.
wife, and it was just like, wow, and you've been living next to me for a year now, never
Well,
talked to you,
yeah.
like what? It's
And I
crazy.
don't know. This probably doesn't apply to your situation, but I feel like before social media and the prevalence of the internet, I feel like if something like that happened, I would have just been happy about it. But like now,
Right.
but now it like makes me very aware that there's a bunch of other people who are doing the
Yeah,
same shit I'm doing.
that is a good point. There is,
Yeah,
especially in America, there's like over 300 million of us. There's surely someone
yeah,
who has the
yeah,
same interest of you, the same job, the same kind of thing.
dude.
Like,
Yeah, I don't know. I also going off more on that. Like, I kind of feel bad for like kids growing up these days because they might have like an interest, like say they want to learn guitar or piano or something, and they're trying to learn, and then they go online and they find millions of videos of people who are fucking maestros at all those
yeah,
things, and I feel like that would just be so discouraging.
yeah.
um
I mean, I
like
get it. You gotta start somewhere though, but it definitely is more so like you just can't like nothing's in a vacuum anymore. It's like it's almost like you've been exposed to everything already. You know what I mean? Everything's just
but
derivative.
it's just like, yeah, but it's like it's so pervasive. Like even like the internet was around when I was growing up, when I was learning like guitar and stuff, and like it still didn't feel like so everywhere because like when I would play for people and stuff, they were like, "Oh wow, you're pretty good," and like now they'd probably just be like, "Oh yeah, but I saw this like 5-year-old who like
Yeah,
could like
literally like this.
obliterate,
Yeah, I saw
whatever
this
that
YouTube video. It was
fire dragon."
a YouTube video of a 3-year-old playing the violin, his first recital, and he's like 3, and I'm like my niece is 6, and she can really play the maracas. You know what I mean? Like,
You can barely hold a note on the
yeah,
violin without it
right. I'm like,
screeching.
that's crazy.
Yeah.
Anyways, okay, well,
That's
together,
been
that has been
been
between two
between two cubes.
cubes. Thanks for listening.
Yeah, that totally went hard.
That was bad. All right, that's it, guys. We're done. We're done. Whatever. See you guys in session. Oh, stop recording.